Hi friends, this is Mr. Razia. Welcome to your Jai Gurudev English Literature. And in today's video, we are going to talk about modern age. In our last video, we have just discussed of it Victorian age, where we found the historical background that everything was stable, everything was peace. But here we will find out something else. So here today we are going to talk about modern age, and then after in our next video we will talk about the part 2 of modern age. Yes everyone, in this video we are just going to talk, this is the part 1 of modern age. Actually modern age is just such a vast confusing things happened, a lot of things happened, and just because of that we need to understand it properly, and so that's why I have to make this age in two parts, so that your history as well as all the major writers must be clear very nicely. So let's have a look of the modern age. First of all, we will talk about the time period of modern age. In the different historians, they have given their different opinions about the timeline of all the ages. Similarly, here also you will be able to find out modern age also in different books about different historians. They have given the different timeline. But here the exact we can understand, we can consider that the modern age starts from 1901 until it was 1952. I just want to ask you a question, that can you tell me, do you think that what is modernism? What is modernism? I would like to tell that what is modernism, with the help of a book which is written by a writer name is Harold Rosenberg. The writer name is Harold Rosenberg. He has written The Tradition of the New. It's a book name, The Tradition of the New. From this book you can have the answer of your question, that what is modernism, the tradition of the new. That means starting something new, tradition will be something new, the old will be finished. Okay, so now we are just going to talk about modern age, and first of all we will talk about the historical background, literary features of this age, and a plenty of literary moments was there. So we will talk about these all things. So if you haven't subscribed this channel, then do subscribe it and share with your friends, so that they will be also helped. And let's start our today's study. As I have just mentioned here, that the modern age started from 1901 and continued till 1952. The modern age was full of chaos, uncertainty, and disasters. You cannot expect such an age. In all ages, we have seen that something stability was there. We could understand that what is going on in all the ages. But if we talk about the modern age, we cannot have a particular things to talk. A lot of things, a number of things was going on in the modern age. As I have mentioned here, that this age deserved chaos, uncertainty, and disaster. We will talk in our next slide that what was the chaos, uncertainty, and disaster. Here also I have mentioned here that in 1914 to 1918, we know very well that World War First was there. And what was the result of the First World War? We know very well that what the world suffered from this war. What the result was there of this war? You can understand unemployment, People died, people were killed, the sentiments, emotions were finished. Many things happened. At the same time, after a few years, World War II happened in 1939 to 1945, as well as a great tragedy happened, took place. A great tragedy took place, that was टाइटैनिक सिंक. टाइटैनिक जहाज डूब गई थी in 1911. You can understand that Titanic was such a big ship. There was no normal people. कोई नॉर्मल इंसान उस टाइटैनिक पे नहीं बैठा था. The great personality, the richest people, aristocratic people, they were sitting there, they were visiting there. When Titanic sank, the almost rich people, they also got finished, and the result was also so bad. Okay, so here we are just going to talk about some monarchs of the modern age. If you talk about first from 1901 to 1910, the monarch was there Edward VII. George V was from 1910 to 1936. Edward VIII was 1936. This was the shortest monarch in the British history. That means in 1936 he became, and in 1936 gets overruled also. So it was the shortest monarch in the British history of Edward VIII. Very important point. The next we have George VI. George VI period was there 1936 to 1952. The modern era finished from here, and after that from 1952 it starts the postmodern age with Elizabethan II. Recently we got the news also that Elizabethan II, she died in 2022. Now we are just going to have a look of historical background. What was the historical background of modern age? So first of all, we will talk about, here we have just mentioned all the historical background as it is mentioned. Spiritual of interrogation, anxiety and frustration, interest in the working class, Marxism and socialism. Fifth, interest in psychology. Sixth, the Great Depression from 1929 to 1939. Seventh, power shift from Britain to America. 8. Colonial wars. 9th, a spread of education. And the 10th number was voting rights for women. So one by one we will talk about all the historical background. So let's have a look of spirit of interrogation. What was this thing? Spirit of interrogation, it was a scientific revolution, and the Second World War shook people beliefs in church, religion and God. People did not believe in anything without proof. So just because of World War I and World War II, the people lost their religion faith that if God is there, then why the God did not save us? Why the God could not save us? Why this much losses are there? Why the people died? So somewhere the people lost their belief in the church, in religion. And for everything they needed the proof. Second number is anxiety and frustration. In modern age, the modern age was the age of machinery, and competition resulted in frustration and anxiety. We find that in the Victorian age, that technology was developing, and still in modern age it was the high time of the development of the technology. And that's why it created competition as well as the frustration in this society. Just because of the machine, the society became fragmented after the world war. You can understand, when the world war is there, the complete world is involved in war, what the people might be feeling, what the condition was there. There was no respect of the emotions, there was no opinion, there was nothing for emotions, feelings, sentiments, nothing, not at all. Only war, 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 everywhere bloodshed. Sentiments, emotions, and values lost its importance in this age. We will talk now about interest in the working class. So, what is the interest in the working class? There was a rapid growth of the Labour Party. The poor and working class people became the raw material for the realistic drama and novels. So there was a rapid growth of the Labour Party. Those who were the Labour Party, rapid growth was there. At the same time, the poor and working class people, those who were working class people and poor, they become the raw material for the novels and for the drama. You can understand what was the social condition of modern age. Next we have Marxism and socialism. This was the high time when Marxism and the socialism was going on in our society, in the world. What society? In the world it was going on. Many social and economic changes took place, and money became the most important factor. Marxism and socialism became popular in this age because it talked about the capitalist, working class, about these all things, and the people supported also. At the same time, Russian Revolution of 1917, Russian Revolution was there in 1917, led the establishment of the communist government. Just because of Russian Revolution in 1917, it led the establishment of the communist government. In 1917, communist government was established just because of Russian Revolution. Now we will talk about interest in psychology. What is the interest in psychology? So, a writer, Sigmund Freud, published The Interpretation of Dreams in 1900, which resulted in a deep interest in psychology. In this book, it was written about the related to psychology. The people started reading it and tried to understand that what's going on in our society, what happened with the people, what is the psychological mind of the people, what they think about it. And now we'll talk about the Great Depression from 1929 to 1939. A great depression was there in the whole world just because of the world war, just because of the big major things were taking place. Aftermath of the First World War affected the global economy. Just because of the First World War, it affected the great global economy. Like, what happened? Which kind of global economy affected was there? So the banks were closed. A stock market crashed. Unemployment, well, everywhere unemployment was there because money was not there. You can understand that world war, complete world is involved in the war. पूरी दुनिया war में busy involved है. Where is going the money? The people are making, लोग आविष्कार जो कर चुके थे उन्हें खुद बर्बाद किया जा रहा था, पैसे को पानी की जैसे बहाए जा रहे थे. We have a major incident at that time also. The Titanic में कैसे इंसान बैठे हुए थे, aristocrat family people, those who were very rich, they died. मर जाते हैं वे लोग. What would be the condition of society? You can imagine it. When in our society, the great people in our country, the great people, if they died, then what will be the condition of the country? What will be the condition of the society? Simple the thing. Similarly, the same thing happened in the modern age also, just because of the world war. Bank closed, a stock market crashed, unemployment all around, हर जगह unemployment was there everywhere. 6th, 7th number we have very important, that is power shift from Britain to USA, America. So we have seen that till now America, not Britain. Britain was ruling in other nations, yet America was also the colony of Britain. But now this was the high time when Britain lost its economy power and the power was shifted to USA. The United States of America participated in the World War and emerged as a superpower. British economy collapsed at this time. Britain lost its economy power and America became the superpower country. 8th number we have colonial wars. We know very well that Britain had colonized many nations, and this was the high time when all the colonies were fighting against it. The Boer War or the South African War in 1899 to 1902 marks the beginning of colonial wars against Britain. So first of all, the South African War, it was started in 1899 till 1902. This is the beginning of the colonial war against Britain. At this time, the other nations, those who were the colonies of Britain, they started fighting against it. This was the beginning time. In India, we know very well that our country also was the colony of Britain. I'll just tell you in the next video that what is the colony. I'll just make it very clear. So Indian National Congress was founded in 1885, dominated the Indian movement for independence against Britain, against British government. A spread of education. In this time, there was a spread of education. The Education Act 1870, a strength in the modern age. Poor people had also started to access to education from elementary school to university. The people started getting education. The people became the educated people of this in this age. And therefore there was a mass production of literature and plenty of books were published in this age, just because the people started getting the education. The next and the last we have, that is voting rights for women. In 1928 Act, Equal Suffrage Act, gave women rights to vote. And this was the high time when feminism as a movement gained more popularity. At this time, feminism, a movement, also got popularity. So this was all about the historical background of modern age. Now we will talk about some literary features of modern age. So have a talk. First of all, we will talk about stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness the people, the writers of this time, they used this technique, and Virginia Woolf as well as James Joyce, both were very famous to use the stream of consciousness. What is stream of consciousness? The modern writers were intrigued with the functioning of the human mind, consciousness that resulted in the stream of consciousness novels written by Virginia Woolf and James Joyce. I would like to tell you that what is the stream of consciousness. So, stream of consciousness is there when the writer is writing the novel, and in the novel, the character about the character they are writing, but what is going on in the mind of the character, that is also prescribed there. They are talking in their novels about the character's mind, that what is going on in the mind. For example, I'm just making you in the easy way. Suppose that you are there as well as your friend, आप दो दोस्त हो, एंड यू बोथ आर टॉकिंग अबाउट योर नेक्स्ट एग्ज़ाम. ओके, आप दोनों एग्ज़ाम के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, दैट कल से हमारी एग्ज़ाम है, एंड हाउ इज़ द प्रिपरेशन, व्हाट शुड वी रीड, क्या पढ़नी चाहिए क्या नहीं पढ़नी चाहिए, राइट. बोथ आर टॉकिंग, बट समवेयर आप तो बात कर रहे हो और आपके जो दोस्त हैं वो भी बात कर रहे हैं, बट somewhere your friend is thinking about tomorrow's event. There is likely to be the match between India versus Pakistan. कल एग्ज़ाम है और कल ही मैच भी है इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में. आप अपने दोस्त के साथ बात कर रहे हो कि एग्ज़ाम की तैयारी कैसे की जाए, एग्ज़ाम के रिलेटेड आप बातें कर रहे हो, बट उसके दिमाग में चल क्या रहा है, दैट इज़ गोइंग ऑन अबाउट मैच, ही इज़ थिंकिंग अबाउट समथिंग एल्स. तो व्हाट द राइटर्स डू हियर, राइटर क्या करते हैं, दैट दे राइट अबाउट दैट व्हाट इज़ गोइंग ऑन इन देयर माइंड, दैट इज़ बीइंग प्रिस्क्राइब्ड हियर. जो माइंड में चल रहा है उसको राइटर के द्वारा बताया जाता है, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड ए स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. Next, we have free words in poetry and non-linearity in plots. So, what is this? This is displayed the fragmented nature of the society. This time, the people were fed up, the people were frustrated, and this was the result displayed in the fragmented nature of the society. Actually, at this time, the modern writers ignored the traditional methods and rhyming patterns. They loved writing poems in free verse. Actually, the modern writers, they did not follow the tradition meters, rhyming this, that, nothing. They just use only free verse. In fact, I want to say that the modern writers ने बस उन्हें जो समझ में आता था उनके अनुसार से, अपने अनुसार से वो लिखते थे. They did not care that which rhyming scheme is being followed or not. They did not care for the traditions technique. They used their own technique. And there was the reason that nothing good was happening in the society, and that was the effect of the society on the mind of all the writers, and that is why they were writing. We have a very fantastic example of T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland. We can see the Wasteland. What is there? Wasteland में होता है क्या? If you read there, you will not be able to understand easily because it's tough to understand his language, what he wants to tell in that. Alright, so we are just going to move towards our next pessimism. What is the pessimism? This is a nirashavad. Modern writers saw a decline in human civilization. There were distorted relation between man and man, human and society, human and nature. Overall, mood of pessimism was there. क्या था ना कि राइटर्स कुछ लिख नहीं पा रहे थे, क्योंकि उस समय की बात ही ऐसी थी कि देयर वॉज नो रिलेशन बिटवीन मैन टू मैन। एक इंसान दूसरे इंसान पे विश्वास नहीं कर पा रहा था बिकॉज ऑफ द इंसिडेंट टुक प्लेस देयर, वर्ल्ड वॉर। देयर वॉज नो रिलेशन बिटवीन द ह्यूमन एंड नेचर, नेचर और मानव के बीच कोई रिश्ता ना रहा। There was no relation, there was no good relation with human and society just because of these all incidents. So finally we can have here also the example that T.S. Eliot has given the wasteland, banjar jameen. Why? Because of the same. Now it is not fruitful. Now we are just going to talk about our next point, and that will be literary moments. A plenty of moments took place in modern age, like Dadaism, Imagism, Surrealism, Cubism, and Expressionism, and Symbolism. So first of all, we will talk about Dadaism. What is Dadaism? It is consisted of artists who rejected logic, reason, and aestheticism of the modern capitalist society. They express nonsense, irrationality, and protests in their work. So in this moment, the writers, they just showed their frustration, they expressed their nonsense, irrationality, protest in such a work, and that is called Dadaism. What is Imagism? Imagism was a moment in poetry pioneered by Ezra Pound. Imagism describes visual images with great focus and simple language. Ezra Pound says in Imagism that we need to speak our points in a very less point, in a very less words that should be there. कम शब्दों में अपनी बातों को बताना, जाहिर करना, एक्सप्रेस कर देना, दैट वॉज इमेजिज्म. कम शब्दों में अपनी बातों को कह देना, दैट वॉज इमेजिज्म. The next we have surrealism. Surrealism is there. It was a moment in art and literature which focused on releasing the creative potential of unconsciousness mind. Dreamlike scenes, irrational, just opposite of images. The next we have Cubism. Cubism was pioneered by Picasso. Cubism was an art movement that wanted to show all the possible viewpoints of a person or an object all at once. At one time. No need to take more and more time. At one time, all the viewpoints of a person will be shown, and that is called Cubism. The next we have Expressionism. It was a moment in poetry and painting that looked at the world from a subjective perspective. Each artist had their own way, their emotion in their art. As I told, मैंने की जैसा बताया कि इस टाइम में writers, they were not following the traditional technique. They were focusing for their own perspective, their own technique. The artist tried to convey emotions rather than reality in this expressionism. The next we have symbolism. Symbolism is a literary and artistic moment. The artists and writers expressed their individual experience through the subtle use of symbols. In this age, the writers started using the symbols. Symbols, you understand? Symbols, actually, when you read the Wasteland of T.S. Eliot, you will be able to find out many symbols there in his work. Symbols, suppose that you are going somewhere and you will be able to find out it is made some figures of any school, hospital. So it is a symbol that outs the next. If you go ahead, then you will find out a school. अगर आप आगे जाओगे तो आपको एक बोर्ड मिलेगी, बोर्ड में वहाँ पे कुछ छपा हुआ है कि हाँ आगे स्कूल है, हॉस्पिटल है, एनीथिंग. तो दैट इज कॉल्ड सिंबल. एक सिंबल होना, एक चिन्ह होना. So at that time the writers, they were using symbolism in their work, and this was used to show the problems in the modern society. Now the next we are just going to talk about radio and cinema. This was a high time of the technology also, and in this time radio and cinema came, and just because of radio and cinema, the novels, the drama, the literary work, the poems, that was going to all the houses also. Because of radio, with the help of radio and cinema, the people earlier, for the entertainment, they had to go to theater. But this time there was cinema as well as radio, so they were just enjoying with the help of radio and cinema. The next we have war poets. War poets were there, those who were the part of world war, and they expressed their experience, that how they felt in world war. We have the war poets like Wilfred on, Robert Brook, and Siegfried Sassoon. So this is all about our today's video. If you find the video helpful, then do subscribe it and share it with your friends, as well as we will meet in our next video soon. I'll be back with our part 2 of modern age. Thanks for watching.